Hi, I am going to be going over the fundamentals of using Eclipse Workspace and the Eclipse IDE so you can get started working on your Java projects. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do, you probably have a welcome tab up here. You can go ahead and click the X and close that. The first thing you're going to want to do, however, is click on New. You probably only see the word project in there, so go ahead and click on that. And then expand Java. And we're going to select a Java project because that's what we'll be working in for this class. Okay, click Next. Now your project name can be whatever you want to call it. I believe the instructions say Java Basic. You could call it Java CS 105. Whatever works for you, and something that you'll remember what you called it and where it might be at. Make sure that this module box is unchecked. We don't need to create that, and it's not going to affect our programs or anything that we do this term. So go ahead and make sure this box is unchecked. Now, also take note of where this location is. This is where all the files, the .java files you create over the course of the semester will be saved. And you're going to need to find those .java files when you go to turn in your assignments. All of your labs will have to be turned in from this location. So if you look at the default location and you're like, I'm never going to remember that, that's fine. Go ahead and uncheck the box. Browse on your computer, put it in your My Documents folder, put it on your desktop. Whatever's going to work for you, something you're going to remember. I'm just going to use the default location because that's where everything else for me is. Pretty much leave everything else except for, like I said, to make sure you uncheck that box and go ahead and click Finish. Okay, it's going to create your project folder, and then it's going to give you your JRE system library, and under here is a bunch of classes and things that we can use, and we'll get into some of those later in the term. And also your SRC folder. This is short for source folder, so your source code goes in here. One of the first things you want to do is create a new package under here. Now these packages, this is so that you can separate each week of your work into a separate location, and both visually and code-wise. And it's going to help you understand and get to know where things are. So your first coding project is due in week 2. And you don't need to create the package info.java either. We're not going to be getting into that complicated of coding. So now you have a week 2 project or package. So then the next thing we would do is we would come in here and we would create a new class. And the first assignment is going to be called Hello World. Each of the modules will tell you what to name each of your .java files, and that's what this is going to be. This will end up being hello world.java. Okay, and you can also check this public static main void. What this is going to do is going to pre-populate a lot of the basics that you're going to need to get started with, and it's just kind of helpful. So if we finish, and we'll get into talking about what all of these are eventually as we get farther along, especially as we get, like I said, into week 2. But also, so from a organizational standpoint, right? So if you have each of your packages separated out into weeks, then if somebody references a particular assignment that's in a particular week, you can go back and look in that week's folder and go, oh yeah, let's see, what was that? That was, oh, the in-between is between .java file, right? I can find that. And it also makes it easier for me as I am grading your work, because that package is, as you can see, these are all my source files as well. And that package is important for making sure that I'm looking at the right assignment for you. Okay, so if you accidentally submit your week 5 assignment into a week 6 folder or into a week 4 place, right? Your package is going to tell me, oh, wait, I think this is in the wrong location, and then I can help you get that fixed, okay? Okay, so we have we have our package, we have our project, our package, and our .java file that we have created. The big things that you're really going to want to keep in mind is, right, you can right click here and go to new and have access to creating a new any of these items, right? And they will be created underneath the folder or underneath the package that you right click on. You can also access that same menu. That is for creating a new wizard with the little arrow next to the drop down right here. What kind of new thing do you want to create? Now, the other things we want to look at for our navigation bar up here is this button for running our project. Once we've got code in here and we want to see what it's going to display down in the console, this is the run button that we will use. You can also find that under the menu here to do the run as well. Those are the two biggest buttons that you want to keep track of as you go through your programming. So let's go ahead and put in some code. Anything with the 2 forward slashes is called a comment, and we'll get into those later. But they're just really, it's when you want to make notes in your code for other people to read, but it's not actually code that will be executed. So if you do a system.out.println, and you'll see how Eclipse kind of types ahead for me as I'm doing some of these things so that I can make sure that I'm getting the right choice of what I want. It also allows me, I could just hit a tab as soon as it starts going, and then it will, let's see, hello world. Okay. We could just hit the tab and it'll auto-complete for us without having to type it all the way out. Okay. So this is just going to print out a string. Strings are always held within 2 double quotes in Java. And everything between those double quotes is taken literally. So it doesn't matter what you put in here, it will always just be a string. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to say hello world. And then if we go ahead and click the run button, you'll see that down here in our console, we see hello world. And this console part is just so that you can see the output of your program, or if there are any errors or problems. So you've got a problem tab here. Those will show up down here as well. Any error messages will be down in this location down here. And over here is your file explorer and your structure. You can see for me, right, I've got all of my weeks in here. I've got all the .java files. Later in the course, you will have additional files that you'll need to download and save. And you'll want to save those right under your project file so that you can access them in your code. All right, and that should be everything that you need for this week. Good luck.